Hello everyone, I'm Priya and welcome back to my channel. Hey, it's Priya. Learn with Priya. So today we're going to learn class 9 Civics chapter number 3, that is Electoral Politics. So let's go, and this is for ninth class, and I hope this video will work for you, and after watching this video you'll be able to answer questions in your exams, to be very honest. And here we go. Electoral politics. What do you mean by election? We've been learning this, we've been using this word, we've been hearing this word all around the world. The election is a mechanism in which the people can choose their representatives at regular intervals and can change them if they wish to do so. This mechanism is called election. Elections are being held at our places, like they are held in the world, in a country, in a kind of jilla or district, or in a state. Like in the state, a CM is selected. In the country, president, prime minister, MLA, MPs, they all are elected by the system called election. In election, people can choose their own representative. Like the representative means the leader who is going to represent the people, represent or speak for people. So this election helped them to vote for the leader, and they can change the leader if they want to. Why do we need election in democracy? Now another term here is democracy. Practically impossible for people to sit together every day and take all the decisions. Lack of the time and knowledge to take decisions on all matters. So, why do we need election in democracy? What does democracy mean? Sorry. Democracy is somewhere where a person represents himself, a person who stands, like that means a very equal way. Okay, so here, why do we need democracy in election? Sorry, why do we need election in democracy? Because we are already democratic, so why do we even need election? Because to avoid this confusion and complex structures, practically it's important, it's impossible for people. So for people it's very like it's not very easy to sit together every day and take all the decisions that must be taken for the people. So it is very hard for them to decide. So that is why it they made elections that only one person will deal with all the people. Why do we need election in democracy? Election provides a mechanism by which people can choose their people can choose their representatives at regular intervals and change them if they wish to do so. So, why do we need election in democracy? Because the representative, we can choose them at regular intervals. Elections are being held. That's why we will choose whoever we want to rule on us, and we can also change them if we wish to. Which are the choices getting a voter during the time of election? They can choose who will make laws for them, and they can choose who will form government, who will form the government to take major decisions. They can choose the party whose policies will guide the government and law making. So we have these many rights and laws. So these are the choices of a voter during the time of election. What are they? The voter, that is us. We can make laws for them. So we are not making laws. We are making a person who will choose whom to make the laws. They can choose who will form the government and take major decisions. The person whom we elect will form a government and take major decisions. They can choose a party whose policies will guide the government and law making. Features of democratic elections. What are the features of democratic election? One vote, equal value. That is one vote, one value, one person. Options to choose. We must have number of options to choose, not one or two parties. Features of country is one vote, one person, one value. That only one person has only one vote, and that vote is of only one value or the same value. Third one, the periodic elections. Elections at the regular intervals are called periodic intervals. For example, India is having elections for every 10 years for the for every state it is 5 years. Every 5 years elections should be conducted in a free and fair manner, no matter of any gender, any sex, any caste, any creed, or any race. Nobody is high or low in front of the law. We have learned this. So there must be free and fair election also. Demerits of political competition in India. Political competition in India. It creates a sense of disunity and factionalism in every locality. So, what are the disadvantages? What do you mean by demerits? This is nothing but disadvantages. It creates a sense of disunity. So, what are the disadvantages of political in the competition in India? It creates a disunity. That means no unity between us. No unity between us. That is called disunity. And factionalism is the racism. Okay, different political parties and leaders often put allegations against one another. They put rumors, fake news, and they insult themselves in front of the camera, in front of the media without any shame, just because of this politics. Merits of political competition, that is advantages. Provides incentives to political parties and leaders. Popularity and chance of victory in the next election depends on how they keep promises. What does this say? This provides incentives, that means it provides good leaders. Okay, popularity and chance of victory, it depends on how they do, like how they treat us, how they rule us. It depends on everything. Now what do people do? They might vote for the wrong person, and he might take advantage of the state or the country. But next time, after experiencing his rule, they will know what to do and what not to do. If they vote for him again, they will fall into the same hell. So what will they do? They will change their decision. Another minutes. Political parties are forced to serve the people if they want to win periodic elections. Political competition helps to force political parties and leaders to serve people. Okay. So political parties are forced to serve people if they want to win. So if any political party wants to win an election, they have to definitely do something good for people, right? If they don't do anything like that, then how will people know if they're good or bad? They will think that his rule is so bad, we don't want him again, and they will not vote for him again. So that is why the political leader is forced to serve the people. He must do it. Political competition helps to force political parties and leaders to serve the people. What is political competition? Having opposition parties. So having opposition parties, if one party who is leading right now, who is ruling the state right now, if it does any one mistake or any one unfairness, then the opposition party will definitely rise, right? What will they say? Look at him, he's doing like this, why didn't you vote for us? Now people will also regret in the same way. So that's why political competition is very important. Now we'll be learning about Indian election system. Universal adult franchise. Every adult must have one right to vote. One vote must carry one value. Electoral choice. More than one political party should be there. So, what is universal adult franchise? We are learning this since our seventh class that every adult who is over 18 years old in India have right to vote, and one vote carries only one value. One vote, one value, one person. Electoral choice. What is electoral choice? That is, we have to have more than one political party so that we have many choices to vote. If this party is not doing good, we can go to another party, right? elections at Indian election are democratic or not. Now we will know if this is democratic or not. What do you mean by democratic? Where people have the right to choose their leaders. But let's see if the elections are democratic or not in India. Elections at regular intervals. There are periodic elections in democracy. That is, every state is having 5 years, 5 years of one rules a state for 5 years. So this is called periodic elections or elections in regular intervals. Free and fair elections are voters have to cast sorry. Voters have to cast vote without fear, greed and pressure. What do you mean by free and fair election? That voter, the leaders of the gang or whatever it is, the political party should not force the voters to vote for their party especially. General by and midterm election. What is general election? The Lok Sabha and assembly elections held after regular interval of time. That is 5 years of in India. So what is general election? In Lok Sabha, the assembly elections held after regular intervals. So in Lok Sabha, what happens? The assembly elections. The assembly elections chooses the MPs and MLAs in Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. So they are held at every 5 years, as I've told you, in state also in 5 years, and Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha also 5 years. By election, the election held only for one constituency to fill the vacancy caused by death or resignation of any member. So what is by election? So let me give you an example. If in a state a ruler is ruling, he rules for 5 years, and this is the second year he's ruling, and he resigned his job for no reason, for some other reason maybe. So what will happen to his post? They will have by elections. What will happen? By elections. In that stage, by election will take place so that they can re-elect the leader for them. Even in the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, one constituency will be empty. So the vacancy one will be filled. Midterm election. The election held after dissolution of Lok Sabha or state assembly before 5 years of term. Before 5 years of term वाला होता है midterm election. Electoral constituency. The country is divided into different areas for the purposes of election. These areas are called electoral constituencies. So let me tell you. So you're in a state, you're electing for your CM. How will you elect? Let's say overall state will elect at one place. Then that place will be so crowded, people cannot cast their vote. So what they do is they have different places. For example, a school, a hospital, or a whatever, school, hospital, or a shop, whatever it is. So in a district, one place is selected, and people go to that place and vote. People belonging to that place. That means the voters I card. People have voter I card, and that voter I card, when you show them, they message you where to go and vote in the nearest polling booth, which are called electoral constituencies. The elected representative of the member of parliament or MP. The elected representative is called the member of parliament or MP. Assembly constituencies. Each state is divided into a specific number of assembly constituencies. The elective representative is called the member of legislative assembly or MLA. We've been learning this since sixth class, so I don't think I have to explain it briefly. In the municipal and panchayat election, each village or town divided into several wards like constituencies. In the same way as I told you, several wards or like several schools or hospitals are divided into constituencies. Reserved constituency, the topic that we already had in our 8th class. Reserved constituency is something that some constituencies in the parliament are reserved for some people, like for scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. They don't get it very easily because of some racism or discrimination. So some constituencies are reserved for them. Like SCs have 79 seats, STs have 41 seats. So they are called reserved constituencies. Voters list. What is voters list? Electoral roll is called voters list. That is the list of people eligible to vote, that is prepared much before the election. So before the election, some people might die, or some people might not come, or they might have gone to somewhere else. They might not vote. So the list is updated every year. Epic, that is election photo I card. It is called Epic. So this is the voters card, voters I card. It is an identification document that shows that you are eligible to vote. You have to show this card before you go for voting. Nomination of candidates. Sorry. Nomination is a part of the process of selecting a candidate for election to public office. He should be age 25 years or above. It depends on the post he want to get nominated for. The political parties nominate their candidates who get the party symbols and support. Party's nomination is called party ticket. Supreme Court's direction. Nominated candidates have following legal declarations. Serial criminal cases pending against the candidates. Details of the assets and liabilities of the candidate, and is on a family educational qualification of the candidate. So these are the details that a candidate or a person who want to be a nominee should submit to the Supreme Court. Election campaign is something that a candidate goes to a place and gives us something like a stupid speech. Like we all know, we all suffer when our parents go and watch it, right? Okay. In India, 2 week period between the announcement of the final list of candidates and the date of polling is during for duration of campaign. The publicity is done through newspapers, television channels, election meetings, posters, and personal contact during campaign. Sorry. Party and candidates can't do to bribe or threaten voters, appeal to them in the name of caste or religion, use government resources for election campaign, spend more than 70 lakh in a constituency for Lok Sabha election and 28 lakh in state. The parties and candidates can't do to use any place of worship for election propaganda, use government vehicles, aircrafts, or official elections. Once elections are announced, ministers shall not lay foundation stones of any projects, take any policy decisions, or make any promises of providing public facilities. How can we say that Indian elections are free and fair? Because we have independent election commission, mass level popular participation, acceptance of election result, free and fair election. We have many people who are willing to participate in election, and people who lose or who win actually accept their lose or win, and free and fair elections. In India, elections are conducted by the independent and powerful autonomous election commission. It is three-member constitutional commission including CEC and two ECs. Once appointed, the election commission is not answerable to the president or government. The election commission is something really free, has so much freedom, so much liberty, that it do not have to answer to any president or government. it enjoys the same kind of independence as the judiciary enjoys. Judiciary is also not answerable to the government or president. Functions of election commission in India: to conduct and control election from the announcement of election to the declaration of results. It implements the code of conduct. Okay, mass level popular participation. People's participation in election is usually measured by voter turnout figures. Turnout indicates the percentage of eligible voters who actually cast their vote. Okay, so in India, illiterate, poor, and underprivileged people vote in larger proportion as compared to rich and privileged section. Because poor and unprivileged people, poor and underprivileged people, what do? They don't know anything. They want someone to help. They believe people easily, so they go cast their vote, believe that someone is going to help them. In US, the poor Afro Americans have much less than the poor and white. Okay, in USA, it is completely opposite. The poor do not vote, but the rich vote more. Acceptance of election results. Even though if the party loses or wins, they have to accept the result. Free and fair election. Indian election are basically free and fair with few exceptions. It is money, muscle, dominance of few political families, almost similar policies and agenda of different political parties. So money. So when the leader distributes the money, people gets attracted to it. So they vote for him. Muscle. It is harming them physically to vote for them. Dominance of few political families is that, for example, if a leader is very famous and his son takes the role, so definitely people vote for him. Almost similar policies and agenda, different political parties. Okay. So, students, this is for today's session, and this is only about electoral politics. And hope you all understood the topic and also enjoyed it. So, thank you so much for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next video with very interesting content. Until then, see you. Bye bye.